deciding to do it full time, 2020.
Wow.
Honestly, I mean, I have been cooking like pretty much my whole life. I have even when I was a presenter, I was hosting a cooking show. So in terms of cooking, it's something I've always known I want to do. I'm good at doing and I like to do. But in terms of now making it into a business, which is, I guess, where people would now say I started doing it professionally, it was 2020. Because again, I was chasing other things. I was trying to be an actress. I was already presenting. I even worked a 9 to 5, in retail. So I did other things before I now got down to it and said, you know what, let's just get into this business like for real, and take it seriously. So 2020. Oh no, but I had the idea before that time.
Okay.
So I had the idea, obviously 5 years ago, that was when I thought about it. That's the first time I told my brother about it. That, and then it was just a thought. I was like, oh, imagine if someone cooked for a really long time. I remember pitching it to the owner of the station that I had my show on DSTV. And I told him about the idea. And this was about maybe 4 years ago, So a lot of things had to happen. I had to grow as a person. I had to build a business. So 5 years ago, definitely, I thought about it. 2 years ago, I decided that I'm actively now going to prepare for it. Then 8 months ago, I pretty much spoke to someone, started putting a team together, and now started planning for the actual event.
Oh.
So, yeah. To the best of my knowledge right now, I don't intend to attempt another record. At least it's not something I'm thinking about right now, because again, this wasn't something I just woke up and decided to do. It took a lot of thoughts, a lot of planning. It was a huge investment, right? So in terms of now making it into something, yeah, I want to make the cook-a-thon into something more like a festival that happens yearly, probably in different countries. That's definitely something I'm open to. So in terms of now reaching out to these brands and saying, oh, we've worked on this before, now this is something that I'm trying to do, definitely, I intend to do that. But if you're asking if I intend to attempt another record, no, because this took a lot out of me. It was worth it, but bringing this many people together, and that's when I say this many people, that's in terms of the team and the entire process. I mean, like you said, you attended the press conference, which was just one aspect of it. So having it at that scale, it took a lot. So to do something like that again for Guinness, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So obviously, I already had a fast food restaurant. I'm pretty much working on opening a bigger space and expanding, so different countries. And that I'm working on a cookware line as well, working on a book as well. I teach, so I have an online class that I'm pretty much gearing up for as well. Obviously, there are a few brands that I'm in talks with. So there's actually a lot. There's a lot. We're working on a documentary as well, because I feel like it's important that people see all this funny that I'm speaking. I didn't really get it, but I feel like it's important that people actually see the process, because it's honestly a very beautiful story, and it's a very informing process, just how everything came together and how it turned out. So I feel like more people deserve to see that holistically, in not just little clips on social media. So those are things that we're working on. It feels so good because it just tells me that I did something that was very powerful. Because people had attempted records before me, right? Not just in Nigeria, but in different countries as well. But then this was such a huge movement that even I am still experiencing how powerful this was. Because again, I didn't experience the Twitter trends in real time. I was going through my own wave of emotions and drawing from every other person's strength. And it was pretty much who was there in the moment, physically, that I could draw from. Maybe a little bit from the live comments on social media, on the different social media platforms. So again, it just tells me that you know, if there was ever a doubt in my mind that this wasn't something that God wanted me to do, it all just further informs that, you know, this was definitely something like if God has spoken to someone and said, do this, it's like, this is definitely what God wanted me to do, because again, it's just opened up an entire, you know, a lot of people now are very inspired and, you know, trying to push through their limits. And I feel like in terms of what's publicized is, the more people that are trying Guinness World Records. But I know that a lot of people are pushing through their limits in other aspects. People got up and decided to actually pursue their business and pursue their dreams just from watching this and seeing this. So it's just, now what we can see on social media and what the media is pretty much pushing is this person is trying to attempt a record. But I feel like other people are actually have been inspired to do other things that are really powerful and are true to them as well. So it makes me feel good. If like, yeah. So, I mean, sometimes I'm not going to like lie to you and say, oh, I don't think about it. Sometimes, you know, I'm concerned. Sometimes I'm like, why you guys, like, why is this, you know? But in truth is, I'm true to myself. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this and why I put in that much effort and that much time into preparing and, you know, doing it at that scale was because it was important for me to let people know that you don't necessarily have to conform to whatever limitations or societal expectations has been set out there for you. I don't have to look a certain way to be good at what I do, to be smart, to have something upstairs, to have something to offer, to be successful. That's what the perception is, and that's why a lot of women don't feel like they can express themselves through fashion and then still be capable of like killing it in the corporate world or killing it in the business industry or killing it in the food industry. Is that you can be all these things and so much more. Because here I am, a 27-year-old, I love fashion, I like to look good. Thanks be to God, I'm very beautiful as well. And I own those things. I'm not going to apologize for that, because in truth, all these elements are what make me who I am, right? And the fact that I am all these things does not reduce what I'm capable of offering. It doesn't take away from the fact that I actually stood on my feet for 100 hours. It doesn't take away from the fact that I, you know, with an amazing team of people, put something that amazing together. Like it doesn't reduce my qualifications or my values. Like, I'm still the one putting in the work, right? But I still like to live my life as well, because it's who I am, and I'm not going to apologize for it. So when I see these things, I'm like, yeah, they'll talk. But over time, they'll get used to it. Yeah, it's also, I pinch myself. Sometimes I actually pinch myself, and I think my first realization of that wasn't even right after the cook-a-thon. It was when I traveled to Akwa-Ibom, when I you know, went for the inauguration, and the response to me, the reception, and just going out and then, you know, everyone's trying to take pictures of you, or it feels good. Obviously, sometimes it can be a bit, you know, overwhelming. But it feels good. I cannot say I did all this so that I don't get recognized. So it comes with the territory, and I'm enjoying it. It's just dealing with a lot more deliverables now, you know. So I think that's the most challenging thing. Just knowing that I have a lot more work. So, you know, they say to whom much is given, much is expected. So it's just dealing with a lot of deliverables and just finding time to navigate through all that without losing myself in the process. So yeah, just, you know, but I like working. So I think that's a good thing. That's one good trait for me that makes this a bit easier. I like to be busy. I like working. I like thinking. I like, you know, I just like having things to do that are productive. So I guess that works for me, because again, now I have a lot more to do.